So, it is another day. I am alive. I am not. Sorry, 3 p.m. please. I had to text my therapist. You know how it is on these roads, man. As a patronly saint, I know it's hard to hear as me because I'm on the freeway right now and motherfuckers be driving like they don't give a fuck, because they don't deserve their license. And I'm talking to you, everybody who tailgates, which is everyone. Like, if everyone was held to the standards of driving that I hold myself to, there would be 5 people on the road at any given time. Trump is a bitch. Elon Musk is a hoe who bends over. I bet you he's not as smart as people think he is. I bet you it's part of the facade. It's a sad fact. This country rewards people like Musk and Trump. It's just boo-boo. It's just really, really boo-boo. I think the state of our country is in the shit. The spread of misinformation is everywhere. I love SciShow. SciShow on YouTube by PBS is a source of edutainment for me. I like putting on their videos and being like, huh, that's interesting. Man, today they uploaded something that said their video was exercise can make chronic fatigue worse. And I'm over here, look at this truck. Look at this truck tailgating that other truck. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. People really don't have any courtesy. A majority of people don't have any courtesy. A majority of people are so disrespectful of their own lives. You almost think they don't deserve. It's a thought. If you can't appreciate your life, do you deserve to have it? I don't know. That's crazy. Because I think, okay, so if you don't appreciate your own life, what is that? I don't even know what that would really look like or what that would really mean. I mean, you might say that I haven't appreciated my own life. I think people who don't care, man, I'll just be honest, what's really bugging me is just that people really don't care. And that's really prevalent in big cities. People do not care. People do not care. And I wonder why that is. And I think it might have something to do with the fact that there's so many of us here. It makes it really hard to give a damn, especially because, I mean, nature really didn't make us to, I don't know, I find it hard to believe nature predicted anything. I mean, humans started off in trees, man, and then we went into caves, man, and now all of a sudden we have robots in office, man. We're talking about cutting people from their job, man. You have You have leaders in the American office throwing up the Hitler symbol, man. This is... I find it hard to believe nature is okay with this. I don't want to believe nature is okay with this. It's a sad state of affairs we're in, and I pulled that from Corpse Bride. Yeah, man, it's... I saw that headline by SciShow, and I almost wanted to report the video for misinformation. I'm like, yo, how irresponsible. What an irresponsible thing to say. I've been getting that more and more. And don't get me wrong, like... I think SciShow posted that with good intentions. They wanted to post that... Like, I think their target audience for that video was people who maybe suffer from depression because they aren't exercising as much, right? And the remedy is not to be like, oh, you're a terrible person, exercise, it's not that hard. It's statistically proven to be good. It wasn't a post based on facts, which is why I guess I was so thrown off about it at first. I think that video was more of an emotional connection kind of thing. It's like, hey, and I haven't finished watching it. I clicked on it. I was just so like, I guess, shocked by the video. And I was like, okay, I clicked on it, and then I only listened to like the first 5 seconds. I looked at some of the comments, and people were like, oh, thank you for posting this, thank you for posting this. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, as long as people don't believe that exercise is bad. But that's the other thing too, like, there are people out here being like, oh yeah, I don't exercise because it makes me sick. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Exercise does not make you sick. It's not a logical issue though. It's an emotional one, so I hate those kind of issues. I hate emotional issues. It's just the worst. It's just the worst because there's no... It's like, for example, when I was smoking tons of weed and when I was drinking a lot, my therapist never said, don't do that. Never. Not even once, man. She just was supportive and was like, okay, if this is what you're doing, then, you know, you do you. And she even bought me a marijuana leaf soap bar. It was a hemp soap bar in the shape of a marijuana leaf. So it was those kind of things, you know. And that's not my instinct. My instinct is to like shame and be like, are you fucking stupid? That's what happens when you approach an emotional problem very, very logically. That's what happens. So I'll watch that video. Maybe I am the demographic for it, you know, because I am very, very hard on myself. But you know what? I'm gonna be hard on more. I'm gonna be hard against this goddamn President Trump regime. The headlines are wild. The articles are wild. The fact that Google renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America for the U.S. Like, come on, man. Then you have Musk, stupid Musk, throwing up the Hitler sign and then being proud of that. Like, because you know why? He doesn't care. He doesn't care, and it makes me mad, man. It makes me mad that these people who are in these positions of high power just don't care. That's why I love AOC. That's why I love Jasmine Crockett. They care, man. They care. Bernie Sanders cares. Elizabeth Warren cares. You know? And I think that's the most you can ask for, is someone who cares. I mean, people want there to be solutions to problems so easily. Like, people want there to be easy solutions to problems. People want, like, okay, so, like, for example, there's hunger in America, right? There's war in the Middle East. There's the global climate change situation happening. And people want there to be solutions as easy as you go 2 + 2 = 4. And that's just not the case. And so Trump comes around promising all sorts of stupid, dumb bullshit, claiming he's the savior and the solver of all these problems. And people vote for him because they want him to be right. I mean, I want people to care. That's what I want. I want people to care. And right now we have a presidency, we have an office of people of unfeeling robots. Cold, unfeeling robots is who's inhabiting the office, and it's presidencies like this that really make me question the fundamental foundations of politics at all. I'm a bit of a nihilist. I'm also a bit of an existentialist. Although my understanding of existentialism, it's not where it could be. I haven't read enough books about existentialism. I'll be honest, when I first heard about existentialism, it put me off because I was like, oh man, this sounds really depressing. So basically nothing matters. And there are some people who are like, yeah, that's the point. Nothing matters, so you can do whatever you want. It's the emotional release valve to the pressure that people put on themselves. Good. You put pressure on yourselves because you want to do good and you want to do better. I don't think people like Trump put pressures on themselves. They really don't. I had this thought the other day where I was like, Trump is gonna win no matter what, even if he has to warp what winning means in his mind. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, what if America is objectively, I'm not even talking about emotionally, I'm talking about logically, objectively worse by every single metric once he leaves office? He'll find a way to spin it in his own warped, twisted, narcissistic mind so that he won. People admire that, just like people admired Hitler. Like, just because people admire it doesn't mean it's a valuable, worthwhile virtue to have. Because people are stupid. Zora said it once in one of our sessions. She goes, it's about emotional evolution. Well, not even like that. I'm paraphrasing badly. She says, what you're talking about is emotional evolution. And so I was like, I've never heard that before. Emotional evolution. That's pretty cool. Emotional evolution. And it is warm in here because I don't have any of the windows open. But we good, we here. I got my coffee, I got my hash browns. I'm feeling fat. I'm also feeling alright because I'm feeling fat, I'm also feeling alright. My opinion on the Kendrick Drake beef, it's pretty spot on, I'll be honest. I think I do a really good job of like tackling different angles of conversation because that's what I want to do. Like, maybe that's why I would make a good teacher, because I'm like really good at inspiring conversation. I think where I was going to use the word suffer the most if I were to be offered a teaching position would be mediating conversation between passionate students. I don't. I'm not like that's. I believe that. I also wouldn't use that as against me because that's hard to do always at every level. Like it doesn't really matter. Like whether you're in a classroom inspiring thought, and then two children that come from different backgrounds have the opposite sides of a debate or something, and they're passionate about it because it's awesome to be able to think critically. That's always tough to do. I guess I mean, yeah. So that's where I would. I think that's where I would like struggle the most. Yeah. Right now, I'm struggling finding the inspiration at all. Keep going, man. Life really is worth living. It really is. I find it. I think there's a lot of people that are having kids. And I think it would be worthwhile I think it would be worthwhile to compare this moment in our American history with the crisis that happened in China about 100 years ago, where they were coming out of financial poverty in their country, and a lot of people were having kids. So many people were having so many kids, and you gotta think, when they were having these kids, let's examine what the state of China was at that time. What was the average household, if they even had a house, like per child that were being had during the boom of girls, right? That was another thing too. It was Chinese girls being born around. So, what was the science community doing during that time? What was education like? Were schools filled? What were people's attitudes towards these different paradigms of human civilization? What was going on culturally? Were there any shows being put on, or plays, or anything? See that car tailgating me? Look at all this room. All this room. And then that car is tailgating me. And that car feels like they're in the right because I'm going 50. It's like, go around. Now I'm putting on my signal. And I'm slowly making this transition. Boom. See? Cars be going way too fast. I'm glad I kept that on camera. Dude was going 70. Look. And now that car is gonna get into that lane. It's how it happens. I think I've said this before. America would benefit greatly by teaching breathing techniques. I think it would go a long way. Because you gotta think, there is significant like how the roads, transportation, I think has to play is significant in I think we need to examine the cause and effect relationship of the culture of transportation in cities. How someone's mood and attitude while they're driving, how people feel about traffic, and what are some of the, I mean, I'm saying cause and effect. I feel like that's not smart. All I'm saying is that there has to be a relationship that's not really examined between the like traffic situation and like how people feel about education, about how people choose who goes into office, people's overall, I guess, mental health, which I guess isn't. Look at this. Why you tailgate me? Which I guess isn't like. Look, see what I'm saying? Like, look at that shit. Another one too. Another one. I might have to create a whole series on this, because I think it would really blow your mind to know what I personally see on these roads, because it's depressing, man. It's like so many people, in my opinion, if I was king, if I was Trump, I would go after everyone's ability to drive a car, man. If I was Elon Musk, I would be putting technology inside of cars that track someone's tailgating averages, someone's slamming their brake averages, and just absolutely destroy public transportation. No one would be driving. Now this is what I'm talking about. Going 40, this is a 50 zone, and then look, not tailgating. It's nice. Doesn't happen often. Oof. So I decided to come to the beach. In my mind's eye, I was expecting to see. In my mind's eye, I was expecting to see beautiful ocean. I was not expecting there to be this level of cloud coverage. Oh look, it's our buddy again. You know, the thing is, and look, this guy's tailgating me too. I hate the most being tailgated by big trucks. The most, man. I've had semi-trucks literally cut me off to where I've had to slam the brakes. I've had semi-trucks get in front of me, slam on their brakes, and here's how stupid people are when they're being emotional. There's this truck this one time. I was on the freeway. It was 1 a.m. I was in the middle of making a delivery. And this big old semi flashing lights at me, honking his big fucking horn. I have my windows rolled up. I have earbuds in, so I'm not really tripping. So, this truck didn't like how slow I was going, took it personally, and then decides to get in front of me, cut me off, and then slow down to 20. And in my mind, I'm like, weren't you flashing being so rude to me because you thought I was driving slow? And now you damn near stopped on the freeway. Bye, bye, bye. And then you damn near stopped on the freeway because you took it personally. And it's just like, here's another one. You see what I'm saying? And then another thing I don't get to is like, people will tailgate me as if I'm gonna go faster. It's like, you're lucky I don't go slower. Most of the time, I'm breathing deeply, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna maintain my speed. Sometimes I do go a little slower, because I have to, because I'm smart. That's the other thing too, like, I went to driving. Like, I took driving school for months when I was in high school. It was a class offered by Downey High, and I took it. I was like, yeah, I want to go to school for driving. Yeah. And so we spent like a whole, I don't know, I forget what it is in high school, a quarter, a semester, I forget what it is in high school. But we spend a whole whatever that is just learning about rules of the road, proper courtesy in the road and stuff. And you don't even need to do that because the DMV will just give you a license. Whoever's testing you is just going to be like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. You can just go ahead and, as long as you don't die, you know, you're good. You get your license. Oh, finally they passed me. Jesus Christ. People. I am really, really good. I am so... People wish they were me. People wish they were me. I'm over here like, don't wish you were me. You couldn't handle being me. You really couldn't. You could not handle being me. It's so arrogant. Tom Segura said this too. He said he was making a joke about buying a plane, window shopping for a private jet. He's like, well, maybe not right now, but maybe bookmark it and come back to it at a later date. That's how I feel about people who wish they were me. It's like the unmitigated gall of you to be like, man, I wish I was him. It's like, you couldn't be me, dude. You couldn't handle it. You would go to jail instantly if you had my intelligence, my handsome looks, my ability to speak. You would be the worst person in the world if you were me. Because you wouldn't think about other people. You wouldn't use my gifts for good. So don't wish you were me. Continue to be you dumb, slow person who is just living your life. And let me be me. And I'll be watching. And I'll be making mental notes. I'll be thinking, making commentary about social people, and go from there. Because with great power comes great responsibility. And I know that's the truth. Hey! Love hurts. I just saw a billboard on a bench that said love hurts. Car. Me. Me. You. We are a melting pot. Big cities are melting pots. So many different people. And yeah, I think I have idealistic... Jesus Christ, man. I think I have expectations, I do. And so I need to... That's something I need to work on. I need to work on like my expectations of people. Love hurts. Oh, the beach. The beach. I haven't had fun in a while, man. It's hard to have fun the older you get. It's harder and harder. No, at least for me it is. I just get so damn depressed. I lose faith in humanity on a daily basis. And that's why it's up to a few handful of people to be strong. Be strong. And that word strong, in the context that I'm using it in, means being committed to your own personal growth and then sharing that with other people. It means being understanding and loving when people don't appreciate you for sharing. Sharing. What a weird word. It means having to put up with a lot of bullshit. Because you know better. I'll be honest, I have spent 7 years in absolute misery. For 7 years. I'll say 5. I'll say for about 5 years, I have had to live with depression, man. And it sucks. And it sucks. And it sucks, man. It sucks. So I get it. When Sideshow posted that video about exercise not helping with chronic fatigue, it's just the way they said it, making it worse. Makes chronic fatigue worse. I have to watch the video because I could make an argument for that. I don't think it would be a wise argument to make. Just because I'm like wanting to motivate people and stuff. But I mean, yeah, exercise. I mean, I wouldn't want to make that argument because it's just logically dumb. Exercise doesn't make fatigue worse. Like, I mean, like, okay, so put it to you this way, right? Fatigue means you're tired, right? So if you're tired and you exercise, you're only gonna get more tired. Duh. That's not the way the video was framed. Like with Sideshow, they said if you're feeling tired in the morning, like already that's not a physical thing, that's a mental thing. And if it is a mental thing, go for a fucking run. But that's just my logical side, you know, being my I'm a motivator, dude, so yeah, I just did not like that video because it just propagates this idea of, oh well, natural medicine doesn't work, you have to, like, exercise is a natural medicine, you know. I have to watch the video because I'm assuming Sideshow is going to mention in that video, when I see it, because I will, they're going to say, now we're not saying you shouldn't exercise, because of course they're not saying that. You don't know nothing about that. We're at 36 minutes. Okay. It is kind of tricky though, but like I couldn't make an argument. Okay, so here's the argument that I was gonna make, right? So it's like, if you're experiencing chronic fatigue, where you're tired all the time, and it's like a mental thing. Big truck right next to me. Big truck right next to me. Don't want to hear that engine roaring, bruh. If you are experiencing chronic fatigue, and I was gonna make an argument against exercising, then the argument I would make is I would say you're not experiencing chronic fatigue because you are exercising. You're experiencing chronic fatigue because you're stuck in your house 24/7. You don't know what sunlight is because you've been stuck in your house for so long. You're eating nothing but french fries and chili cheese and hamburgers with no lettuce or no tomato. Thousand Island dressing all up in that baby. You're eating fried chicken constantly. Those things contribute to chronic fatigue. You're not socializing with others. You're avoiding everybody. You're just doom scrolling all the time and hearing people on the internet talk about how messed up everything is, which it is. So, yeah, all of these things, and then exercise. And so I would bring up all of these things, and then say, so yeah, if you're on top of all that, you're hating yourself because you're not exercising, then yeah, boom, you've made the point of a video, which is to say that, hey, well, don't feel bad. We can at least alleviate one of those things. Exercise can make it worse, because if you're beating yourself up about not exercising, well, then there you go. That's not so good. But like I said, I want to make that argument because you need to exercise. Like, our bodies exercise. I also saw this other video too on Sideshow. They were talking about this like endocrine molecular compound that is at least partially, if not totally, responsible for activating muscle enzymes in the body. So I forget the name of this compound, but it started with a G. At least I think it did. and GE something, GELYN maybe, TZ, I don't know, some weird ending. And they found that if they activated this thing in the bodies of like mice or gerbils, and then like gerbils that didn't run on the hamster wheel, gerbils that basically were kept by these scientists in this experiment from exercising. They found that as long as they got this one thing activated in there, simplistic in comparison to our bodies, activated it in their bodies, then it seemed like they would, their makeup, their chemical makeup, their physiology was kind of indistinguishable from their hamsters that were on the wheel and exercise and stuff like that. So thank you for tailgating me for like a minute before you made your move. Loser! Anyways. People just don't have any etiquette, man. People are rude on the road, and they don't deserve their licenses. And they probably don't even have licenses. Losers. Nah, they probably do. That's the worst part. They do have their license. I am grossed out by them. Wholeheartedly grossed out. Nickelodeon. So then it begs the question, what if you could get all the benefits of exercise? Look at this shit. Here's another reason why I hate people on the road. Because everyone is like just looking out for themselves. You know why they tailgate me? Because they're like, oh, I have to get here at the bunk of everybody else. And then if you think about why they think like that, right? It's not like they're doctors rushing to go save a patient's life. It's not like they're mothers who just got a call that their son is bleeding out and needs help. A lot of the time, the people that are doing this are just like, no, well, fuck you, I just want to go home. It's like, so what's the rush then? It's like, you don't see me slapping you across the face because I just wanted to. I wish more people were like me. I say you can't be like me because you can't. You couldn't handle the responsibility. I do wish I could impart some of my traits in you, though. Like consideration. And also the ability to just breathe and think. Have different perspective. The thing about different perspective, you need someone to guide you, to give you a different perspective. At least I did. Because I wasn't going to go and get it other ways. I still could, though. But I guess it remains to be seen whether or not I will. So yeah, if this enzyme could if we could trigger those enzymes in the human body and then you get the same benefits without having to do the work. I don't know, man. I think that's a recipe for disaster. Because it's not that hard. I mean, you could just take an hour out of your day to do some exercise, and you get those same benefits. I mean, it's the same thing that the people who take vitamins. Like, you're just buying vitamins, quote unquote vitamins, so that you can pee expensive pee. Because the majority of those vitamins just get converted to your piss because your body can't absorb it. Of course, this is what smart people know. It isn't fair for me to judge or criticize because not everyone is as smart as me. And I'm really, really smart. Even smart people are not as smart as me, which is the wildest thing in the world. Because I don't consider myself to be smart. It's hard, right? Like, if you're the sun, you're this ancient, primordial thing. The sun doesn't feel that way. The sun is just like, yeah, I'm just the sun, bro. I could wipe all of you out if I wanted to with a single flare. This ain't even half my ability. The sun's just chilling, just radiating. Just radiating. It's kind of how I feel. Like, I'm just here, smart as hell. Probably the smartest thing on earth. And I'm just chilling. Giving you little tidbits here and there on my YouTube videos. I'll tell you what, I sometimes I like to pretend in my mind about people who are tailgating me or just being rude to me. I feel like they're supposed to. I feel like they're supposed to. Like, think about like if I'm still using this comparison of me being the sun. People used to think Earth was the center of the universe. How do you think the sun felt about that, man? You know? The sun had to be just like, alright, you can go ahead and think that. You're wrong. You can go ahead and think that. I'm gonna be here, and I'll just have to love you anyway. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes when people are like I've had people throw shit at me. I've had people like hurt me, and I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna get mad because I know I'm smarter than you. I know I'm stronger than you too. Again, stronger in so many different ways. So I'm just gonna be here, and I'm gonna pretend that you were supposed to be, that you're the earth to my sun. I'm not gonna get rid of you because I can't. Honestly, you've found your way in this moment at the grocery store, and the moments that are fleeting on the road. You've found your way somehow into my gravitational orbit, and so I'm not gonna light you up on fire. You can keep talking wild. Just know you're wrong. I mean, there's so many reasons why a person will behave the way they do. And it's a matter of statistics. I'm looking at it statistically. Like, a person is so complex, right? So, even the dumbest of us are capable of experiencing complex emotions. So, anger, sadness, happiness, these are the basic emotions. Frustration is a complex emotion. Stress is a complex emotion. Nervousness is a complex emotion. And so the reasons why someone might be experiencing these emotions at any given time are vast. And it would be one thing if you were living in a small town. You could pinpoint the source, right? Oh, well, Marcia just lost a baby in her third trimester or whatever, and because the laws that would have allowed her to have an abortion were wiped out during the Trump administration, she was forced by her state, if Kentucky or whatever, to carry that baby through the trimester. And And knowing full well that her genetic history and her family medical background showed high probability of a stale, I forget the technical medical term, but I think it's called a stale birth, where that baby was going to come out dead. And so, yeah, you could pinpoint the source of her behavior if she's tailgating you on the road or cutting you off in traffic or whatever. And that's just one. There's so many different. That was one very specific one, right? But there's so many different reasons why somebody. And it could be as simple as, oh, my sister got me in trouble by my parents today. She's such a bitch. Now I'm gonna take it out on people on the road. You know what I mean? So, at any given time, there can be a million reasons why someone will behave the way they do. So take that in consideration, and then also think, there's millions of us here. So that means if every one person has an opportunity to experience complex behavior brought on by complex emotion, and there are millions of us here, that means at any given time there are millions of opportunities for people to be douchebags. And so you can't just get upset every time, even if it seems weird, like you see it all the time. Like you probably are, because the chances that you would are high, considering the fact that there's so many of us here, and that there's so many different ways for that stuff to happen. So it's tough living in the city. It's not easy, not at all. And so we develop ways to kind of cope. And then social media is not fair, because now it's kind of like, well, guess what? Now you're going to know shit that's happening even if you don't want to know. There isn't a break. And AOC said it on one of her posts on Instagram. She's like, turn off notifications. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Turn off those post notifications. That's what I did. I'll go through periods where I periodically delete all my social media and then start it back up again. I've done this like 4 times already since high school. I've gone through these periods. In the span of like 10 years. No, more than 10 years. I guess it started in college. In the span of 10 years, I think I've like I've disappeared from the internet and then reappeared on the internet over the course of like 10 years, maybe 4 or 5 times. So, I'm back again, obviously. And this time around, when I was setting up all my media accounts, it was always like, do you want to turn on the notifications? Do you want to turn on the notifications? And I can't tell you how many times I've had to be like, no. For one of my apps, the voice recorder app, it kept on interrupting me by forcing me to click no on like, I would be watching YouTube or I'd be working my DoorDash app, and then all of a sudden it would jump to the screen and Quick Launch would say, hey, do you want to enable access to your microphone for this thing? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's a voice recorder app. I don't. I want to enable it when I choose to enable it, and then turn it off when I'm done using that. And it just kept on asking me so much that I eventually was just like, you know what, fuck it. I found the app under my settings where it was like, do you want this app to be enabled? I'm like, no, disable this app. I am tired of being forced to think about this all the time. No. It's dumb. And as I say that, I'm tired, so I'm gonna stop talking. But I'll leave with one thing to think about. Are we getting smarter, or are we getting dumber? The optimistic side of me wants to say we're getting smarter. I could make an argument that we're getting dumber. With technology, you would think, the layman would think, we're smarter. the intellectual like myself, who's making the argument for smarter, could also say that, because it's like, okay, well, we're no longer have to waste mental energy thinking about stuff we don't want to think about. We're more focused now. We can specialize in certain things because technology will take care of the other stuff. That's kind of like pointless to us. But we might be getting dumber, y'all, which is crazy. But then again, if you feel that way, ask yourself, well, what are your metrics for measuring intelligence? What is the bar for being smart or dumb? How do you measure it? And then when you ask that question, you'll realize the fundamental flaw logically with everything that we do. We use a tool that we do not understand, our brain. You would never ask someone to use a tool that they don't know how to use, and yet somehow we use ours. We don't know how to use our brains, but we do it all the time, though. We don't understand it. We don't know how it... Oh, I mean, I say that, and at the same time, we do know a lot, though. It's not like we know nothing. We do know some stuff. And it's expanding, too. Which is a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing. Okay. Bye-bye.